in Yellowstone. We're here on the South Rim Drive, headed out toward Artist Point. And as you can see, once again, crowds have entered the Yellowstone. All right, what is up, Park Junkie Nation? Welcome back. Todd C coming to you from here inside Yellowstone National Park. Now, as we all know by this point, the gates to Yellowstone open once again here, providing access to the southern region of the park. Guests can once again enjoy the sights and sounds of the world's first national park here on the 150th anniversary of Yellowstone. We expect the north region of the park to open up within a couple weeks, but at this time, it's just the southern area. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to jump on the old KTM back here and give you a little tour of that southern region of the park, show you a few of the sights along the way that I always enjoy seeing, and a couple that I've never even seen before. Now, we won't be able to hit every single one of the stops along this route because, as you'll see, it's a time-consuming affair negotiating these roadways and hot spots here in Yellowstone National Park. But jump on the bike, we'll see what we can get in today, and I'll bet we'll have a pretty good tour on our hands. So let's go. Let's take a ride. Come on. All right, well, I've decided to drive northbound from Lake Village toward the Canyon Junction, Canyon Village. Go out the South Rim, take a look at the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, and then we're going to follow the loop around over to the Norris, Geyser Basin, down to the Madison Junction, and then down to Old Faithful, wrap back around to Grant Village, and then back up this way from West Thumb to Lake Village. But moving northbound on the highway here on the Grand Loop Road, my first stop, Lahardie Rapids down here. This is one of the areas that sustained a lot of water during the recent floods. We're going to go down here and take a look at what the water flow looks like today. All right, friends, so we're down here at Lahardie Rapids this afternoon. The Yellowstone River flowing back in normal levels. Apparently during the floods last week, the level of a CFS, that's cubic feet per second, on the river hit over 50,000. So the previous high water level recorded on the Yellowstone River was back in 1918 at around 24,000 CFS. So yeah, water level back to normal here. Folks out enjoying the boardwalks in the park. We're going to jump back on the bike, head north toward Canyon Village. I think we're going to try to stop at the Mud Volcanoes and check out the scene up there. So let's ride along, shall we? All right, friends, although the boardwalks here along the Mud Volcanoes route are once again full of tourists enjoying the sights and sounds, the Bison here show that they're still the ones in control of Yellowstone. They do what they want when they want. Yeah, they're right out there on the mud cauldron at this moment. A little battle royale going on out here. Just the warm-ups, a little preliminary action, if you will. All right, a short drive north from the Mud Volcanoes, just like 3 minutes north, puts you in Hayden Valley. Now, Hayden Valley, one of the famous spots in the park, for bison sighting. Now today, out here on the Yellowstone River, down here in the plains along the river, no bison to be found. There's a herd way over there, but I think the large conglomerate of bison today seem to be hanging out down around the Mud Volcanoes. Nevertheless, Hayden Valley, one of the classic spots for bison sighting here in the park. So if you and the family are cruising into Yellowstone, you want to check out some bison, you're almost guaranteed to see bison in the Hayden Valley. What a spectacular day, huh? Look at this place. It's absolutely incredible. Traffic back on the roads once again. Experienced my first bison jam just a bit back there. Hey, it's Yellowstone. All right, friends, as we make our way out the South Rim Drive going toward Artist Point, we stopped here for a view of the Upper Falls. You can see part of the Grand Loop Road on the bridge back there. Some people gathered on the North Rim of the North Rim overlook there right at the Upper Falls. Stellar view of the falls from all angles here. A lot of water flowing down. You can see the water just billowing up when it hits, when it crashes down to the bottom of the falls. That's an intense waterfall right there. The Yellowstone River flowing heavy down through the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, and over hundreds of thousands of years it's carved a spectacular canyon in the landscape of the upper Yellowstone region here. We're going to continue on out the South Rim Drive toward Artist Point, but I really had to stop here and get a view of the Upper Falls on the way out. All right, friends, but this is that classic view of the lower falls here, the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. It's made famous first back in the day by Thomas Moran, one of the early expeditions into the park. He came in with Henry Jackson, the famous photographer. Both Henry Jackson's photographs and Thomas Moran's paintings basically introduced Yellowstone to the world. All right, moving over to our next stop, I think we're going to jump back on the bike, head down to the North Rim of the Grand Canyon here, see what kind of sights we have from over there. Ooh, cool. We've got a few options here. Got the upper, the middle, and the lower overlook. The brink of Upper Falls. Let's go check it out, huh? This is going to be exciting. Should be a nice stroll that most of you would be able to make on a Sunday afternoon. Maybe even a Sunday morning if you're not feeling too bad from your Saturday night. One more Saturday night. All right, looking down, you can see the folks checking out the view from the lower deck. That's right on the edge of the falls. That's pretty cool, right? Look at that, and it goes crashing way below. Little rainbow down here at the brink of the Upper Falls. Tidings of good luck in store for someone down there. Some lucky soul down at the bottom of the Upper Falls. I don't know about that. Wow, what a waterfall. That's a lot of power right there. I don't know how many cubic feet per second are flowing over the waterfall here, but it's a substantial flow still here in the Yellowstone River. Well, that was certainly a cool stop right there, right to the brink of the upper falls. All right, right here on the north rim of the Grand Canyon, you'll have to stop at Lookout Point. It's one of the fabulous views of the lower falls. You can see there's a lot of folks here today. But you can also see that the waterfall, the lower falls, spectacular. Rushing water, a real raging powerhouse right there. All right, friends, now we've stopped out at a spot called the Grand View here on the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. We're directly across from the Artist Point viewpoint right here, where you see those famous views toward the lower falls there in the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, first made famous by Thomas Moran. Grand View, you get probably what's the best view into the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone right here, looking northward toward the flow going in that direction. Man, it is a stellar viewpoint down here, and well, it's hard to pass up a spot named the Grand View, so we had to pull in for that. Right over here on the western side of the Grand Loop Road, we've got the Norris Geyser Basin. A few crowds around today, not too bad. Could find some parking spots back there. I'm telling you what, if you're driving around parks like this, it's advantageous to be on the old motorcycle, no doubt about it. You can always find a little sliver in which you can slide that motorcycle into, and that's always a bonus when you're out here trying to make your way through the park in a timely manner. All right, so any trip down here to the Norris Geyser Basin should probably be accompanied by a stop at the old Norris Museum here, where you can get a little history about the area. Also learn a little bit of scientific facts about what you're seeing out here as you walk through the Norris Geyser Basin. All right, friends, while we're down here in the Norris Geyser Basin, I figured we should take a stroll on one of these walkways. We're headed out onto the Porcelain Basin, and you can see it's a hotbed of thermal activity out here. Little geysers and little fumaroles all around. We got a little bubbling section just right here. So let's see what's on out the trail here. For those of you who enjoy a little history around these areas, you might be interested in reading some of the writings of Rudyard Kipling, who was one of the first visitors here to Yellowstone. Some of his writings about his tours that he did with guests here in the park are absolutely hilarious. Folks didn't know what to think when they were seeing these strange thermal features here in the Yellowstone area, and many of them on the tours thought this was a gateway straight to Hades. So Rudyard Kipling found that somewhat amusing, and he found a way to write about it in a most humorous way. And I really appreciate the historic aspect of him writing about the first visitors here to the park, and the way that they reacted to some of these and some of their expressions when they were examining these hot springs and thermal areas close up. No way of knowing what was going on below the Earth's surface. Well, that was a super cool little trip down into the Porcelain Basin here in the Norris Geyser Basin. But in the interest of timely travel today, I got to jump back on the bike, head south here on the Grand Loop Road. We're going to head down toward Madison Junction right now and see what fun we can get into down there. So let's jump back on the bike, let's head south. All right, as we drive south on the Grand Loop Road from the Norris Geyser Basin, we come to the Artist Paint Pots stop. So we're gonna take this short stroll. It's about a mile, little hydrothermal area out there. There's a boardwalk, and apparently there's some paint pots out there that our artists are fond of. All right, out here on the Artist Paint Pot boardwalk, little loop here at the end of a short trail in. Pretty cool, quiet out here for a boardwalk here in the area. And you can see that we have some cool scenery, little pools, nice mineralized soil around, gives it a little contrast, a little color. That's just beautiful right there, the red mixed in with that turquoise from the spring right there. We've got several of those through here, just gorgeous. It looks really cool. All right, as you look out on the paint pot right here, you see some tracks going around here. Well, could it be the bear? Well, you know how it is. Sometimes you eat the bear, and sometimes the bear, well, eats you. All right, friends, after a brief stop there at the old Artist Paint Pots, we continued on southward on the Grand Loop Road, stopped here at Gibbon Falls. That's our next viewpoint here along the road. Now this is a cascading waterfall, not quite as drastic as we have over in the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, but nevertheless a rushing waterfall right here in the western section of the park. Here we are, one of my favorite little stops along the Grand Loop Road's southwestern section. This here is the Fountain Paint Pot Trail. It's a little quarter-mile, half-mile boardwalk, leads up here to Spasm Geyser, and a few just brilliant scenes. But all these old dead trees, how can you not enjoy that? Super cool. Yeah, looking out on this thing, you wonder what hath taken place here. Here at the Silex Pool, the Fountain Paint Pots Trail, this is one of my favorite little spots in Yellowstone right here from the roadway, very accessible. This is a gorgeous spring right here. The blue, the turquoise, just absolutely stunning colors in this little pool. It's right off the roadway. It's about 1/8 of a mile to walk up here, mostly flat. Stellar little area. This is a cool walkway right beside the road. You can access this easily. Do this entire loop in 10 minutes or so. Pretty cool. Now we'll get up here to these fountain mud pots. As you can see here, a vat of bubbling mud. How cool is that? Oh man. How about those grizzly prints beside those mud pots back there at the artist paint pots? Those are pretty cool, huh? Here we get some more bizarre scenery over here. Water just spraying out of this thing right here, bubbling up into a rock that's on top of it. Some kind of seething cauldron below the Earth's surface right there. All sorts of bizarre stuff around here in Yellowstone. This is not unusual. It's every other walk that you take here has got some kind of bubbling mud, water shooting into the sky, growling sounds from deep within the earth. Yeah, who knows? And then if that's not crazy enough, you got some grizzly out there ready to rip the place to pieces. It's Yellowstone, right? Cool. Back behind me, this is Spasm Geyser. It's one of the more active geysers down here in the fountain paint pot area. This thing seems to always be spraying up. I don't know how often it goes. Every time I'm down here, it seems to be blasting off. Super active. Yeah, it's going into spasms. All right, well that's going to wrap it up from the fountain paint pots area. All right, friends, so we're down here in the Grand Prismatic parking lot. The boardwalk back here rolls right around the hot springs. So let's go check it out, see what kind of scenes up here on the boardwalk today. A lot of steam coming off of this one, yeah? Yes, indeed, Grand Prismatic Spring. Now, this is the lower section right here. We're on the boardwalk and we're headed up toward the higher section. We're right up in there, which that's the actual spring you're looking at when you're looking from above. Man, look at that. What a feature. This is one massive portal to the innards of the earth. That's right, man. Heavy sulfur smell right here. Just intense. Just like starched laundry. My goodness. So yeah, you can tell sort of the color back here, but man, you just can't see it quite the same down here as you can from the point up on the Fairy Falls Trail. That is my favorite, man. Down here on the boardwalk, it's really cool to walk along here and see an up-close view of the bacteria mats, because that's what this is. This is actually bacteria growing in hot water that's coming out of this spring, and then it just flows off all around. You can see that it flows out forever in every which direction. It flows to the northeast, south, and west right out of this spring right here. I don't know if you can see that in a 360, but that's what's going on. Water just coming out of this, and all these bacteria form in the hot water that's running off from this geyser. Bison prints down here in it. You can see that the bison, they don't care. They walk right across this thing. They don't really heed any of the park warnings about thermal features. Bison, they do whatever they want. Sometimes I hear they fall into these things. Now, I've never seen one, but I have heard tell of bison skulls and skeletons down in hot springs, and that's pretty crazy, man. Wow, poor guy. What happens? All right, friends, well, we just pulled in here to the Black Sand Basin. We're gonna check this little boardwalk area out. Now, there's a few of them along the route today that you'll probably notice I've skipped, and that's just in an effort to minimize the time necessary for this trip. So we've skipped a few, but we're stopping in here at Black Sand Basin. So the Black Sand Geyser Basin has a few different geysers. You can check out this right here, the Cliff Geyser. We've got the Emerald Geyser and the Rainbow Geyser back here. So we're gonna stroll around, take a look at these. The Cliff Geyser is pretty cool. It just pops right out and the water overflows into this little waterway right here that flows down into the Firehole River. This is some hot water, just steaming all the way down through the drainage as you see out here. Spectacular little hot spot here. A lot of thermal features bubbling up in the southwest corner of the park. It's almost like you're in a sauna just walking through here. The steam coming off of these thermal features. Yellowstone is hot and cold, frigid, but it's hot too. Looks like the Cliff Geyser. A lot of water's drained out of that. It was overflowing there a few minutes ago. Yeah, how crazy, huh? Yellowstone. All right, friends. Well, Park Junkie's famished, and I'm down here in the southwest corner of the park. Old Faithful Inn's right back here, and I think I could probably find something to eat and a cold beverage while I'm here, and perhaps have a seat up on this balcony out here, and who knows, watch Old Faithful while I'm having a tasty beverage and something to eat. Let's go see what we can get into here at the Old Faithful Inn, shall we? Yeah, the Old Faithful Inn. Perfect. Upstairs we go. All right, friends. Well, I've made my way here onto the balcony at the Old Faithful Inn. You can see Old Faithful steaming back there in the background. There's a crowd here on the mezzanine waiting for the next eruption, which is scheduled for about 7:15, about 10 minutes. This is a little bit different than our last eruption that we witnessed here, but hey, nonetheless, it's going to be super cool. I'm looking forward to it. Stopped in, got myself a cold beverage at the mezzanine bar right in here, and I'm just kicking back at a table out here. I feel lucky to have gotten a table with all these people around. It's the last table in the house, but I've seen this show before, so it's all good. And here we go with the eruption of Old Faithful from here on the mezzanine at the Old Faithful Inn. Yet another blast off from the geyser.
There's 12 seats available.
There you go, Old Faithful, with your crowds around today. Look at it go. Wow. And it gets quiet. You can hear a pin drop. So yeah, it's a little different than the last eruption we witnessed here, but yet again, another fantastic display from the Old Faithful right down here, the southwest corner of the park. You'll see that the Old Faithful goes off every 90-ish minutes. And today at 7:15 p.m., a little early. I heard it was going to be 7:15, actually 7:11. So right there, another eruption, Old Faithful. We saw it here today on Park Junkie, but we saw a unique eruption of Old Faithful just a few days ago. We're gonna take on up the road, back up to the lake. So we're on our way now. All right, friends, well, welcome back to Kepler Cascades. You may recall our last visit here was nothing quite like this. In fact, we were here in a blizzard. So what a difference a week makes in Yellowstone, right? All right, well, how about that? A little tour on the old KTM. If you're wondering, that's a KTM Adventure 890R. Yeah, that's right, the R for rally. Yeah, we rallied it today. We put on some miles. That's the South Loop of Yellowstone right there, the South Loop of the Grand Loop Road. I hope you enjoyed the tour. As you can see, there's a lot of sights out here in Yellowstone. We've made it back to the lake at this point. We are at Pumice Point. Looking out to the south there, we see Mount Sheridan, the largest mountain in the southern section of the park. Great summit. I'm looking forward to getting on that one. I already know it. I haven't even been there, but I know it's going to be fabulous. Now, if you're coming into the park in the next couple of weeks and you're limited to this southern section, those are just a few of the sites. As you know, we didn't even stop at some of the major sites. We missed the Biscuit Basin. We missed all kinds of stops because I was running out of time. But nevertheless, what a tour. I hope you enjoyed some of the sights that we did see today out here. If you have any questions on that, throw them in the comments and we'll try to get you some answers here on the channel. But thanks for tuning in. This was a stellar day. We've got a fabulous sunset out here on the lake tonight. Temperature's starting to warm, and as you can see, summer is on its way here in Yellowstone. We just had the summer solstice a couple days ago, but Yellowstone gets into summer a little late. Well, hey friends, I'm going to check out. I'm going to get back up the highway here to Lake Village. Just pulled in here to Pumice Point because it looked like a gorgeous spot to say good night to y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Check me out over at parkjunkie.com. That's your fix for national park info. I'm going to check out right now, and I'll see you on down the trail, my friends. Cheers.